Hello, my name is Evan, and this is the 2-day ASAP weather forecast. Let's get into it. All right, looking across the country in the current conditions, you can see that there is some rain out there. This is going to be the prelude of some stronger storms later today. We do have a slight risk out here for parts of Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska, going into Iowa there. So rain is coming for these drought-stricken areas. Where we'll take a look at how much rain in just a little bit, but yeah, as you can see, there is some rain already there in North and South Dakota, reaching its way down into Nebraska, but nothing severe as of right now. We also have a marginal risk stretching from Montana all the way into Michigan. Also today, down here near Oklahoma and Dallas, Texas, Louisiana, Southern Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida are going to be in a marginal risk. It's a 1 out of 5, so hit or miss. Severe weather is possible. And good news and bad news over here in Vermont. The rain is stopping over here, but the rivers are still rising. So there's still a lot of flooding going on. And in fact, we got some images of that over here. So let's come over to this thing right here. As you can see, this is a view of one of the rivers. Yeah, definitely a whole lot of flooding going on there. And this is a look at what it looks like in a town. This is Montclair, Vermont. And you can see that the businesses are getting flooded, unfortunately. Hopefully, you gotta hope these people have flood insurance, but when you live in Vermont, floods like this aren't very likely. So just hoping the best and that people are all safe and okay with these floods. Also, a little update here on the drought conditions across the country. We do have some drought still in a lot of places, for Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri, Iowa, going into Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin. I mean, all these areas are in. So this is the ledger down here, the key, I guess you could call it. We got moderate drought, severe drought, extreme drought, and exceptional drought all around in this area. There is a little bit of a relief coming, and we're going to go over that here in just a second. Also, quick little update on the forest fires out there. So this is Canada and the northern United States. And as you can see, the forest fires in Canada still going strong. The smoke making its way down into the northern United States. If you live around Minneapolis area, maybe even northern Wisconsin could see some smoke today and going into tomorrow with these smokes. And also, little thing I just wanted to show you guys, we've got forest fires also starting. This is Russia here on the border of Russia and China. As you can see, we're starting to see some forest fires there pop up. I mean, that's a decent amount of smoke. So we might now have two areas with a lot of smoke, pumping that smoke into the atmosphere, which really isn't good for the people's health, as that particulate matter can be quite harmful. All right, let's come back over to here. And now we're going to go into the forecast here. Let's go look at the first. What we're going to look at, obviously, is what we always look at, which is the temperature. So let's come over to here. We'll go over to the 12Z, and we'll take off the severe weather thing here. Perfect. And then exit out of that, and then come over to the temperatures here. And then we'll give this a good old load. This is what you can expect over the next 2 days, and so let's move this forward, and you can see that heat is still gonna hang on here for Texas. I mean, we're talking about, let me take out this little thing here, we're talking about 100-degree temperatures for most of the state of Texas. Some areas getting up close to 105, maybe a little bit over that in some areas. And then as you come down here near the corner of New Mexico in the Texas border, almost said Texaco there, you've got 108-degree temperatures, moving this all the way through into Arizona, going into California. I mean, we got 100-degree temperatures all the way up there, and 90 to 80-degree temperatures in that area. Also still have the heat holding on here for parts of the mid of this, I guess you call it, this plains and parts of the southeast here. We got 90s and 80s, still a little bit cooler up there in Still going to be a little bit cooler over there up in the northern plains there, and also getting a little bit warmer now in the northeast and the Pacific Northwest. Moving this forward even more, it's going to cool down for a little bit, and then bang, look at that. Even hotter temperatures, unfortunately, over here in Texas. Some of those hundreds might even be making it into Oklahoma and parts of Missouri. There you can see we got a little cold front coming through. That's going to be some storms that we're going to be talking about here in a second. But yeah, lots of heat over there near California and Arizona, still near the Phoenix area. And then pushing this forward, you can actually kind of see this front move down to the south and east, and that's going to cool things down a little bit. But for the most part, the country is pretty warm right now, which is what we can expect during the summer. All right, now coming into the future radar, this is what we can expect in terms of the severe weather for today. Remember, we do have that slight risk out there, so let's move this forward. So gonna have the spotty rain, and then we start to see some storms fire up near in the Rapid City, Dickinson areas at around 5 p.m. today, and then moving this forward, you can see that moves through South Dakota, and then eventually by the morning hours at 1 a.m. Tomorrow, we do still have some potential severe thunderstorms moving into Iowa, northern Nebraska, and that kind of forms into a line where we're going to have damaging wind threat. Tornado threat with this is going to be quite small. If we go back, let's go back just a little bit here to about here. We have a little bit more isolated cells, and then if we look at the upper level winds, there's definitely some upper level winds there. We're lacking the lower level winds. There are some spots where there is potential there for some more spin, and also in terms of the energy out in front of these storms, not a whole lot of surface-based cape out there, so that might help tamper some of the severity of the storms and the tornado potential. So yeah, very low tornado threat today. It's only a 2%, so there's a 2% chance you will see a tornado within a 25-mile radius of you. And then yeah, moving this forward to about the morning hours, you're probably gonna wake up to some storms, thunder, and heavy rain there in Cedar Rapids in Iowa. And now coming back down to here, where we also expect some severe weather, starting today at around 4 p.m. near Little Rock. Gonna see some rain and potentially some severe storms over there in Arkansas, and then we're gonna have this form into a line where a damaging wind threat is gonna form for northern Louisiana and southern Arkansas. But it should be your average severe weather event. 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-sized hail. So as long as you are indoors and away from windows, you should be okay from this. But that line starts to break apart at around 4 a.m. as it enters into Mississippi, and then maybe some residual storms going into the morning hours. So if you live near Shreveport, might have some rain and thunder around you when you wake up. Now let's talk about tomorrow's severe weather risk. So if we come over to here, we do have another slight risk out here for parts of Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, parts of Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas. Then we got a marginal risk around that extending from Mississippi up into South Dakota, Minnesota, all the way up into Maine. So pretty widespread area for severe weather tomorrow. But good news is that rain is coming for Missouri and Iowa and Illinois there. So let's go look at the future radar for that day. The main risk for that day is going to be damaging winds and hail, by the way. So yeah, let's come over to here and move this forward even more. So as you can see, we do have a front that sneaks in back here near Iowa at around 2 p.m. That's going to move down to the south and east towards Cedar Rapids and Kansas City, potentially some pretty strong storms down there by around 11 p.m. And then that moves down to the south and east towards Springfield and St. Louis by 2 a.m. And then moving this all the way through, you can see that there's still some residual storms going into the morning hours. By the end of this model, let's zoom this back here to when these storms are pretty much the strongest, and then come to the upper level winds. There are some there. Lower level winds, not a whole lot. So the tornado threat's going to be quite low for this one as well. I'm expecting 2% for this. Maybe could get bumped up to 5%, but we'll have to wait and see. Again, this is going to be for tomorrow. But yeah, that's pretty much what you can expect for the severe weather out there. And then now we're going to look at The day 3 categorical risk, we got a pretty large area here, pretty large marginal risk. Could be one of the largest marginal risks ever issued, but this is going to change multiple times throughout the couple days, so it could shrink or maybe even get bigger, but we'll keep an eye on it. But it's just the marginal risk, which is a 1 out of 5 for severe weather, and that goes all the way from Texas up to South Dakota, over to Iowa, down to Arkansas, over to South Carolina, up to Pennsylvania, through the Ohio Valley and the Tennessee Valley, and then up into the Northeast, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, yeah, Connecticut. A lot of people have a small chance of seeing severe weather, and that's 3 days from now. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. But yeah, that is going to be it for me. Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one.